Hello, everyone. It's Ernest, your host. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. I hope you're all keeping well and safe. Well, on today's episode, I want to talk about a subject that I've been researching for a very long time, and I've come to put together few things that I believe that will be very helpful and beneficial to anyone that would endeavor to listen to this podcast. I have been researching why do we fail? Why do we fail in life? Let me put it that way. Why do we fail in our professions? Why do we fail in our careers? Why do we fail in our families? Why do we fail in our relationships? Why do we fail? You know, why do we fail in our dreams? Why do we fail our dreams? You know, and I've come to understand that the reason why we fail is not because it's not because we want to fail, but we fail for so many reasons. Among them are the followings. First, we fail because we don't believe enough in that which we want. We don't believe enough in that which we desire. We fail because we refuse to take responsibility. Everything in life comes with a cost, and you can't avoid that. Comes with a responsibility. And so, therefore, when we don't take responsibility, we no longer regard that particular dream, desire, wish, and dream and want as important. And we fail because we are afraid, you know. We fail because we want to please others. We fail because we didn't pay enough attention. We fail because we refuse to humble ourselves and learn, you know, and or to train or do better, do things differently so we can succeed. We fail because we didn't give that dream, that desire, that one, the attention that it requires, you know. And we fail because we're we're just afraid that we're afraid of being laughed at, we're afraid of being singled out, we're afraid of being the first, we're afraid of being not being the crowd, we're afraid of fear of being rejected, we're afraid of rejection, we're afraid of somebody saying no to us. We're afraid of being failed, not to fail. So therefore, so we build around us all these nonsensical reasons to fail, while in actuality or in actual sense, they don't really matter. Because I read a book that says if you were to enter the kingdom of your desire, the kingdom of your want, the kingdom of your dream, the kingdom of your hope, the kingdom of your joy, the kingdom of your peace, the kingdom of your wealth, the kingdom of your riches, the kingdom of your marriage, the kingdom of your family life, the kingdom of contentment, the kingdom of nothing missing, nothing broken, that you have to be like little children. Just look at if you're a married woman or a man, or if you're a family one, or you're a single mother, a single father, or whatever, and you have a toddler. Just look at him or her, how many times that he or she, during the stage of trying to walk, after that 1 year period or before 1 year period, it depends on the child. When he or she's learning to walk, how many times he or she is falling and still got up and still wasn't ashamed, wasn't afraid, you know, And even when you laughed at him or her, he or she will laugh back at you. That kind of interesting, And so if we're to succeed, this is how the game should be played. I was talking to a very successful man a few weeks ago. He said to me that the major reason why people fail in life is because they do not believe in that they have a divine contract, and they do not understand what is a divine contract and how it operates. Dreams, they do not believe in that which they want, and they do not want it hard enough. How bad do you desire that thing? How bad do you want that thing? How desperate are you? How hungry are you? How persistent are you? And how patient are you to want that thing that you want, that you desire? How hard do you want that which you desire? And this is another reason why that's why we fail. It's a major reason why we fail, because we don't believe in it. Do you believe in that which you want? Because if you want it enough, if you desire that thing enough, if you want it so badly, nothing, I can tell you that, will stand on your way to go get it. Doesn't matter how many times, how many rejections you will receive, except if it is not in your divine contract. But if it is your divine contract, you will have it. Also, you will have it if it is the right time, because every contract has a time specification for performance. Like myself, I can give you a typical example of myself. I remember some years back, I was applying for a job. I was in a strange country where I never spoke that language, but I was determined to speak that language. I was determined to know their culture, and I was determined to live in that country. So, and here am I, English speaking, applying for a job. Oh, you get folks reply, you sorry, you don't speak the language. Sorry that, sorry this, and some bluntly telling you, no, please, we don't want to see your application. And I sent out so many applications, I sent out about 286 applications. I think 286 applications, and was all rejected and stuff like that. So, and I said, what is this? And then, but I didn't stop there. I said, nothing will pull me down. And then I just applied for the next one, and there you go, boom, and I got the right job. And this brings me to another point also that the billionaire pointed out, and that is people fail because of wrong timing. Because we all as human beings, we all have divine contracts. Whether you like it or not, you have a divine contract, and that divine contract has time specification, because there is time for everything under the sun. So are you at the right time? Because when you operate according to your time, I guarantee you success will be begging you, not you begging success. But a lot of us, we're doing stuff because we've seen somebody else do the same thing and succeeded. So we think, oh, probably that is for us. And in actuality, that may not be ours. That may not be the way. That may not be in our divine contract. Because your talents, your gifts, and your assignment, that space which you've been given to occupy here on earth, to perform here on earth, which no other person can do, is yours specifically. So you don't need to copy somebody else, but you have to run on your race. You have to run on your track. You have to learn. You have to run on your lane. A lot of folks are trying to run on someone else's lane or someone else's track, and when you do that, you are bound to fail. You have to identify your track. You have to identify your race and be patient and run that race. Because another reason why another reason why people fail is because they envy and they're jealous of somebody else's success. You know, you cannot desire success, you cannot desire or want success, and at the same time be envying somebody else or be jealous of somebody else who is successful. You are breaking the law of success. You are breaking the law of success because you are telling success, even though I desire you, even though I want you, and actually I don't really want you because I envy you. So please go away from me, because that is a law, one of the laws of success. You cannot desire it and be jealous of somebody else. There is something that I started practicing few years back, that really opened my eye. There is a book written by a lady that I somehow stumbled into that book, through a search, through a desire to be successful, through a desire of wanting to be important, through a desire of wanting to live a life of nothing missing, nothing broken. I stumbled into the book. It is called The Game of Life and How to Play It. It's written by Florence Scovel, And in that book, she laid out a couple of things that really, changed the way I operate. And ever since, even then, I've not started business or whatever. Even till today, I still practice it. I still put it into use because these are laws. These are divine laws. For example, years back when I go for a job interview, and I would say before I leave my house or once the interview is arranged for me, I would say, if this job is for me, I can't lose it. I have this job. But if it's not for me, based on my divine contract, if it's not for me, let the person that this job is meant for have this job. Let divine solution, let divine answer, let divine solution come out of this interview. That's what I do. And I will go to the interview with joy, with peace. And even though if I was not selected, which barely happens, if I was not selected and being informed that I wasn't selected, I am happy because somebody whose divine contract it is to get a job, has finally gotten a job, or we get a job. And that gives me a different level of satisfaction. So I am happy for him or her. I will never be sad. I will never be mad. I will never be frustrated. I will never feel rejected. I will never feel envy because I want the same thing. Well, it's what I already prayed for, so I'm okay with it. Because it's not mine. The same thing ever since I started my business, the same thing I do. Whoever I'm dealing with, whether you're somebody who's going to work for me or somebody, or I'm going to write a contract or I'm going to deal with somebody, the first thing I do is let divine solution come out of this meeting that I'm going to have with this person or that I'm having. Let divine solution come out of it, because ever before you were created, ever before you were conceived in your mother's womb, and ever before I was conceived in my mother's womb, we've already entered a divine contract as to how we are going to lead our lives here on this part of existing called Earth. We've already agreed on the thing that we are going to do here and the time that we're going to do it and how we are going to do it. But because we live in this sphere and do not see why here on this side of existence, because we cannot see that divine contract, we cannot see that spiritual contract which we've already entered. We cannot see with our physical eyes. So therefore, while here on earth, we begin to live our lives based on what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we touch, based on our five senses. So in doing so, we miss what we were designed, what we agreed divinely to do here on earth, until we realign ourselves to that which we don't see, to the unseen contract or to the unseen agreement. It is until then that we will begin to be successful and begin to lead our lives the way we've been designed to live it. Nothing happens by coincidence. There's no coincidence in life. Coincidence is just an English language. It's just a word. Coincidence doesn't happen. Nothing happens by coincidence. If not, just imagine that the earth is by coincidence. What would happen? If anything and the divine happened by coincidence, or if our lives here were to be coincidence, how would that be? Nothing happens by accident, because everything has already been predestined, predetermined, ever before they came into existence. How? Let me tell you how. Because everything around you, just look around you, look from your head, from the hat on your head to the boot on your feet. They all come out of somebody else's thought and embedded in belief, and in faith that gilded that belief. Now, everything around you come out of thought, and because our thoughts is a fluid substance, it's always in motion. It's so fluid, it's always in motion. And why is it in motion? Because it is connected to the universal or divine mind, waiting to be given a specific direction so it can take form. And the only way it can take form, the only way it takes a concrete form through your direction, is by the way you begin to actualize it by your action in terms of how you go about that thought. For example, you have a thought to build the fastest jumbo jet or whatever, build the fastest laptop or build the fastest or the most fanciest phone in the world, or whatever, or build the most fastest plane that can take astronauts to the space, or to the moon. Whatever it is, it's a thought, and it's fluid. It's a plastic substance waiting to be given form. First of all, waiting to be given form by means of direction. And the only way it can take concrete form is you giving it direction. And the only way you can give it direction is to give birth to it by not being afraid, by not doubting, but taking action, by believing that indeed you could take somebody with your fastest plane to the moon, and therefore you start going about it and say, yes, I have an idea, and therefore you begin to clothe that idea. You begin to give form to that idea. So, and that is how these stuff happen. I've taken years to begin to put this stuff into practice, and it works. I know some of you are going to doubt it. I know some of you are going to say, oh, what the hell is that? But practice it and see if it fails you. I can guarantee you that it won't. For example, anytime you're performing, let's say, your physical contract, say the contract you entered here on earth, either with your customers or with your suppliers or with somebody else, or anything like that. Anytime you're performing that contract, it comes along with sacrifices. There are things you need to give up. There are things there are things you need to do. They call it binding. Things like in terms of sacrifices, financially, you'll be required to do certain things or pay certain things. And if you deviate, if you or your failure to perform that contract will lead to certain action being taken against you or against your estate. Things being done against you, like taking you to court because you've broken certain laws, that law of commerce or law of transactions or whatever. So for you to perform your physical contract that we sign here on earth, you will need to it requires some financial sacrifices, it requires some honesty, it requires truthfulness, it requires you to do certain things, do certain physical things, either manufacturing, and you need to pay those people that would need to manufacture the stuff for you to supply or for you to receive. So there are things that needs to be done for that contract to be performed. Likewise, for you to perform your spiritual contract, as the things you've already agreed even before you were born, there are certain things you need to do because they are rules, they are laws. And if you break them, you need to pay. You need to pay penalties for breaking your spiritual laws. So anytime you are not you're not performing your divine contract because of unbelief, because of fear, because of not taking responsibility, because of not learning, because of not being patient, you will fail. Because what you're doing, you're breaking your contract, and by breaking it, you're trying to perform a different contract that you never agreed to, in terms of you are trying to do something that is not yours. You're trying to run a race. You're trying to run on someone else's track. So therefore, the consequence is failure. You will fail. The question then is, how do you know your divine contract? The simple answer is anything that you are doing that doesn't give you peace, that makes you stressed out, that makes you jealous or envy or become envy, and anything that you're doing that doesn't give you that inner satisfaction, inner contentment, then you must stop to ask yourself certain questions. I hope this has been of a help to somebody or to someone out there, and just want to encourage you to keep pushing, keep reaching out, and keep going. And until next time, I want to wish you and your family and friends Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. And in all that you do, make it productive, make it successful, and enjoy. Stay safe.